superheroes. Welcome back for another video, another movie review video. So we are going to be talking about MCU's new Thunderbolts movie. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, come back to it because this video will have some minor spoilers. Not going to talk a lot about it, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the specific points, what I liked, what I didn't like, and then at the end I'll go ahead and give you the fan score, as well as a critical score, right? And then we'll go ahead and combine it together to give you the final score. So right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and let you know Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Sebastian Stan. Those three, if they were not in this movie, it would have been pretty bad. But because they're in here, and every scene of the movie has at least one of them, this movie ended up a really good time. And with that being said, when I was watching the trailers for this movie, leading up to the movie, right? If you guys go back and watch those reactions, I'm talking about, hey, this movie is really reminding me a lot about Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, where you have, a bunch of criminals, ex-former criminals, working together to fighting a bigger threat that they really shouldn't be like capable of fighting, but they're doing it to save the world. And that's the case here. You have all of these criminal former criminal. I wouldn't say they're all former criminal because I don't think the Red Guardian's a former criminal, but you get what I mean. Bunch of B tier villains slash anti-hero slash heroes, however you see them. But they're fighting together to, spoiler alert, to fight the Void. And essentially before that, the Sentry. So what I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know is this movie has very much the same curse of the MCU movies from the very beginning, and that is a forgettable villain. I don't even remember who she was. I don't remember her name, and I don't care about who she was. And I really was disappointed that she's going to be in future movies because this movie had one of the most disappointing endings where it was just kind of like, whoa, just anticlimactic and out of nowhere. And so let's go ahead and go back to the very beginning. I mentioned that if you have Florence Pugh, if you have David Harbour or Sebastian Stan in the movie, you were always going to be entertained in one way or another. And with that being said, the teamwork in this movie, everybody getting along, getting to see everyone's backstory, it was kind of cool. And the team did really work together very well. And then Sentry portrayed very well. The Void portrayed very well. The emotional stress, the emotional distress, the emotional struggle that the Sentry has, and essentially, basically, everyone in this movie was shown wonderfully. And with that being said, I really wish they could have kept the Void as an Avengers villain in the future, where they could have had just, make the same basically plot lines or story details that they had in this movie, with the very small exception of the last half hour, 45 minutes to a half hour, where the Void was the thing, right? So I really wish they could have teased the Void rather than have him be the full-blown side villain in this, because I really didn't like that the Void was defeated by a group hug, essentially. I really wish they could have just teased him a little bit. Maybe, that scene where they're showing him sitting down and then they have the shadow, people shadowed up and all that stuff. And then in the future storylines, maybe one of the villains is able to get in his head and then release the Void. And then bam, now he's an Avengers level threat, which would have been amazing to see, because he even made comments about being compared to a god, right, which is Thor, and how cool would it have been to see Thor versus the Void. It's just, they could still do that now. It's just, he got beat by a group hug, and that's all it's going to take. I don't see why Mantis can't take a one-on-one, just mentally, like, calm him down, be like, you're not alone, type of deal. But, I know I'm being very nitpicky here. The villain, she obviously misused every part of her office, as a candidate for presidency. I think she was trying to go for. And they, at the very end, here's a major spoiler alert, at the very end, they basically just let her be. And I'm like, bro, like, she literally caused the blip 2.0, and you're just like, oh, we own you now. We're not going to do anything because you brought us a publicity. I didn't agree with that. I thought that was really stupid. Um, and gosh, I really feel it for the people and the citizens of New York having been blipped and now being shadowed by the void, being sent to the void. And, you know, according to this movie, every single person that's gone into the void basically is stuck in probably their most painful memory. And so imagine like everybody in New York wants to come back. It's like everyone's just carrying on their life like nothing happened, when in reality, I think a lot of people would be messed up from reliving their most horrific memory, right? So they don't show any type of PTSD at all. They're not like, whoa, where did we come from? Whoa, who did that? No, they'll clap. Oh my God, you know, these new Avengers saved us. Unfortunately, these are the new Avengers. And then, you know, where's Spider-Man in all of this? Like, they're in New York, and we saw at the end of the last Spider-Man movie, he's still in New York. In fact, you have Daredevil and everyone in New York. So, are they being affected? So you know, this is where I'm like, just save the void for a feature movie where you're going to have multiple heroes in it. Because although the Thunderbolts, the chemistry is there, the actors were great, they are still not at the same level or anywhere near who should be fighting the void, right? So, um, with that being said, as a fan, did I enjoy this movie? Yes, I did. Did I enjoy the CGI? The CGI is much better in this than the previous MCU movies that we've been complaining about, or projects in general, She-Hulk. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, it is something that I was impressed with, that I was satisfied with. It is something that the MCU needed, and it does make me look forward to Fantastic Four just based on that post-credit scene. That confirms that the Fantastic Four universe that they're currently residing in is going to end, and they're going to end up in the main line for the MCU. So, or the main storyline for the MCU. So, you know, it is. I just really hope that Fantastic Four is able to go ahead and live up to the higher expectations that they've been put on now, because they are going to be the last movie before Doomsday comes out, and you want to head into Doomsday with a good taste in your mouth, right? So a good taste on your tongue. So as a fan, I'm going to go ahead and give this like a 7.5 out of 10. As a critic, the pacing and everything, I thought the first half was great. I thought I was into like another version of the Winter Soldier, which again, when I was watching those trailers, I pointed out, I'm like, oh, this is giving me Winter Soldier vibes, which I really love, because Winter Soldier is one of my top 3 MCU movies of all time. And the first half did present that. And then the second half happened, and I was like, okay, here we go again. MCU just gave into the jokes, gave into their typical MCU way. And with that being said, it didn't let me down completely. It's just the first half was pretty close to like a 9 out of 10. But overall, as a critic, I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a 7 out of 10. So if you were to combine my fan score of 7.5 and the critical score of a 7 out of 10, you could end up with like a 7.2 if you want to call it, or just go with one of those, whichever. But it's still a movie that I would say watch it in theaters. It is a fun, enjoyable experience. It doesn't drag on too long, 2 hours. And then other than the abrupt ending, it was still something cool to see, you know, a big screen movie like this focusing on the mental health aspect, which is again great to see. But would I pay like a full price ticket for this? No. I would say go watch it like during the matinee hours, or whenever there's like a discount, or just watch it when it gets to stream on Disney Plus in a month or two. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts. Whatever your thoughts are, leave it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that post notification bell, so you know every time we're uploading a new video. And guys, stop the hate, spread the love, and I hope you guys have a good one.